Hey, this is Dave coming at you again from Southeast Grand Blanc, Michigan. Sorry I haven't done a video in a while. I've been extremely busy, as you can see. But I figured I'd make another video on how the nursery business is doing, my hobby, and just talk about a lot of things some information that I can't really find on YouTube that I've kind of figured out on my own. Like for instance, see these cuttings? A lot of people wonder, what do you do with cuttings? When do you take them? What do you do with them once they've rooted? How do you get them to root without dying? And I think I wouldn't say I've mastered it, but over the last few years I think I've gotten pretty good at it. And so I'm going to pretty much talk about what I do. You don't need anything real fancy. I think this is about as fancy as I'll ever get, is building these wooden boxes. But you can actually take these things you can get at Walmart and just drill holes in the bottom. But I find these things more heavy duty. They're just easier to carry. You can see I put like a 1x on the sides for like a handle, and I got holes drilled there. I think it would work even better if I drilled holes on the side. But all right, well, what I basically do is, in my area, Southeast Michigan, it's around zone 5. So taking softwood cuttings, in my opinion, is the best way to do it. They're easier to root, but they're a little bit more delicate at the beginning. But you can see this is a box that I actually put these in on August 3rd, 18th. So these were extremely late to do, but you can do them pretty much all the way in maybe till September. But you don't really want to push it. I usually go no later than the second week of August, and then you want to stop doing cuttings until you get into the hardwoods, like evergreens like arborvitae, and just evergreen shrubs are a little bit better to do once they get colder and go dormant. But anyways, I think I have figured out how to make all these survive. And what I do, see, here's a good example. I sold so many of these Daisy Montauk's this year that you can see, I don't even think even these, I could have these sold probably in like 2-3 weeks, just part-time. But anyways, you can see down here, Daisy Montauk. I put these as softwood cuttings in this tray on June 23rd, 18. And I'll just sacrifice one just because, why make a video and I say, oh, these are rooted, and then you don't even see them. So let's see if I can even, oh gosh. I just ripped off half of those roots, but you can see it's rooted. I'll probably pop this one up so I don't waste it. But what I do though is, last year first of all, we had a really cold winter, like coldest in, geez, they said like 100 years, one of the coldest in 100 years. Then we had a late spring. Then we had a super hot summer this summer. So a lot of plants acted really weird, didn't do that well, and then some of them seemed like they did better. But anyways, what I've decided to do, and it's worked out good from last year, is what a lot of people do is they'll put the cuttings in, do this, and then as soon as they're rooted, they'll wait a couple more weeks and they're like, well, I need to pot these up. And here, I'll run over here and see what happens when you do it that way. And that's what I was doing the first couple of years I was doing this. I'd get them rooted, I'd be all excited, you can't wait till they're rooted, and let's see how I do. And then I would put them in 1-gallon pots around August or September. And then what happens is you have these little baby cuttings in these big pots all by their lonesome, sitting out in the winter, and they're just more susceptible to just freezing and just not doing well through the winter. So what I found out last year, which worked out really good, is when you root them same time of year, second week of June or whatever, and then keep them in these boxes literally until the next spring. Just leave them alone. So the previous year, I think it was the year before, I actually rooted these, and then as soon as they were rooted, like 3 weeks, 4 weeks later, I would pull them out right away, shock the roots, put them in a pot, and stick them out in the middle of the winter time. And 80% of them would still survive. But what I'm going to do this year is take these, leave them alone, and as you can see, if you compare it to a couple years ago, I would have long pulled these out by now, because these were put in June 23rd. So then what I'm going to do this year, and what I did last year, which works out really well, is I'm basically going to put them into these boxes. Obviously I'll take the straw out and stuff, but put them in the box, put some straw around the actual boxes, and then just leave them alone. And then once it gets warm next year, probably first week of May, when you just know it's not going to get really cold, pot them up. And then you have healthy rooted cuttings that have the whole entire year to grow and turn into a really nice plant. And if you leave these in all the way until the next year, you don't take a whole bunch of space up in your nursery in the fall. And anyone that does nursery business knows that you need all the space you can get. There's never enough space, no matter how much space you have. And then, well, I'm rambling on, but you know, let me update the video I did on arborvitaes. Just to let you know, I don't prepare these videos when I make them. I just grab my phone and go for it, right? You just kind of just freestyle it. So those little cuttings I showed you in my last video about hardwood arborvitaes, these are them, and you can see some of them, they turn like light green. They don't do that well, but for some reason sometimes you get them light green. I'm not a scientist, but I'm assuming it's because there's not enough nitrogen, or maybe the soil I put it in, since it was compost, it might not have been broken down enough, but or it might have just not rooted as well as its neighbor right here, which is, you can see it's grown a lot in 1 year. Who knows? But it seems like the following year, after they sit through a winter, here, I'll show you. I'll show you the ones I did. Look at, I'm still carrying this around. I'll get to it. These are the ones that are 1 year older, and a lot of these had a lot of them had that. Look at this one. How bright green that is. It almost looks like it's not healthy, like just sick. But I find that if that light green one will be this deep green the next year. I don't know if the roots just need more time to settle, but yeah, look at these. This is just maybe about 2 years old now. By next year, I can sell each one of these for probably at least $10 to $12 a piece, depending on how fast I want them to move. But yeah, I haven't really done a whole lot, but a lot of people are real private about how much they make from this, but I think it's helpful. This year I sold on and off part-time for about 2.5 to 3 weeks. I think I brought in close to $4,000. Just people on Facebook groups. That's how I run ads. They literally come to your house and just buy the plants right out of your backyard. But a lot of these, you can tell I got busy. I'm a landlord by trade. I'm a real estate investor, and I just got a couple bad vacancies, and I had to pull off and get them re-rented. And sometimes tenant trash your houses, but that's a whole other topic. But yeah, look at all these plants. I've at least, even though I've been busy, I've kept this somewhat organized. But you know, I would have sold all these hostas this year if I didn't get busy. And you can see I got some sugar maples just starting to color, getting ready for fall. Look at these gorgeous Annabelle hydrangeas that even if I wasn't busy, I probably wouldn't have sold them, because look at all these cuttings I've got for next spring. And then here's some smoke bush that are doing well. I started this year with about, I think I got 50 of these. Now, some of these plants I don't grow from cuttings, because these are about this tall when you buy them. I found a place out of Oregon. You can buy these for about $1.90 a piece, and then you pot them and you can sell them for $12 a piece. So and here, while I'm talking about this, let me run you over to the ones I actually did myself, and you'll see why I just buy those. This right here is a cutting I did that's almost 2 years old, and look at how slow they are at first. But I couldn't believe it. I sold so many irises that I kept all these irises, because I'm like, dude, I'm gonna make like 150 more from these for next year. Some beech trees. I got some cypress. And let me show you while I'm right here, since this is just a rambling on video. This is why you don't dig plants when they're not dormant yet. These were in pots sitting in the grass. I was in a hurry, yanking them out of the grass, knowing some of the roots got in there. They're live and well. And then all these ones that are doing goods are the ones that didn't root through the bottom of the pot. But these, any of the main roots that went through the bottom of the pot, if you cut those while they're in active growth, you might as well kiss them goodbye. And bye-bye plants. I tried to grow you, but then, you know, focus on the ones that are doing well. Like some of these are doing really good. These are really nice shrubs, or trees I should say. I'm calling it a shrub, and they get like 60 or 70 feet tall. But yeah, I'm digging it. I've got a lot of burning bush that are doing well. The dwarf ones, see, these are 2 years old, but next year, sometimes, you know, if you're going to get into this business, you always, it seems like you want to think about 2 years ahead of what you'll sell. Except if it's like a perennial, they grow fast. Like these are the Daisy Montauk's. This right here, this little cutting is this shrub. This was rooted 1 year early, so you can see the stalk, and you know, they grow fast. And these things sell fast. For some reason, people buy these like crazy even before they started flowering. It's nuts. And I got a bunch of spirea, red twig dogwood. I got a lot of creeping myrtle. And my apple tree. I can't wait. I took a bite of one today and I regret it because I'm still about a month away before they taste good. But yeah, this is my nursery, and yeah, I just figured I'd make a video because I haven't made one in a while. Alright, signing off.